Hi friends, I am Nilesh NS and today's chapter that we'll be learning is nutrition in plants. Be sure to watch the full video so that you can have a clear understanding of this chapter. Let me give you the introduction to this chapter. Nutrition. It is a term used to describe the process of intake of food, its digestion and assimilation, and its proper utilization by the body. Plants exhibit two modes of nutrition, autotrophy and heterotrophy. Auto means self and trophy means to feed. This means that autotrophy, the organisms that practice autotrophy can make their own food. Hetero means another and trophy means to feed. This means that the organisms which follow heterotrophy mode of nutrition feed depend upon other organisms for food. Nutrition. Nutrition is divided into two parts, autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is further divided into photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition is divided into parasitic mode of nutrition, symbiotic, saprophytic, and insectivorous. Let's discuss these one by one. Autotrophs, the mode of nutrition by which organisms synthesize their own food by using inorganic substances like sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water by the process of photosynthesis is called autotrophic mode of nutrition. And the organisms which follow autotrophic mode of nutrition, they are called autotrophs. So here it is the structure of chlorophyll. This is the example of plants are autotrophs, and autotrophs like plants and certain bacteria have a green pigment called chlorophyll to capture sunlight, which helps them to perform photosynthesis. Euglena, as you can see, is a bacteria which contains chlorophyll. It can be in autotrophic mode of nutrition when light is available to it, and it can switch to heterotrophic mode of nutrition when light is not available to it. Sea slug, it is one more organism which follows autotrophic mode of nutrition. Its body has chlorophylls inside it. So when light is available, it can make its own food through the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the term or the process, you can say, by which the plants make their own food using chlorophyll to capture sunlight, stomata to take in carbon dioxide, and water and minerals from the roots. So here the light energy is being captured by the chlorophyll in the leaves, oxygen is being given out and carbon dioxide is taken in, and water and minerals are taken through the root, and glucose is formed and oxygen is given out as the byproduct. Here photosynthesis, carbon dioxide which is taken in by the stomata of the leaves of this autotrophic pot of plant, water and minerals are taken in through the roots, and the chlorophyll captures the sun's energy, which leads into the formation of glucose and oxygen. Glucose, the chemical formula is C6H12O6, and for oxygen it is O2. Now I'm going to share an interesting fact with you. The world's largest single-celled plant organism is Wallonia ventricosa. It is the scientific name for bubble algae. It is also a species of algae and it is found in oceans throughout the world in tropical and subtropical regions. It is as big as a hand. Now let's discuss about photoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs are organisms that can make their own food or energy using sunlight. These organisms use chlorophyll to make their own food. For example, mimosa plant, sunflower, cyanobacteria. This is a type of bacteria that can do its own photosynthesis, algae, etc. They make food by the process of photosynthesis, just as we discussed now. You may remember everything that I have taught till now. Photoautotrophs are organisms that can make their own energy using light and carbon dioxide through the process of photosynthesis. The word photoautotrophs is combined with photo, auto, and troph. Photo means light, auto means self, and troph means feeding. Next is chemoautotrophs. In hyperthermophilic chemoautotrophic bacteria are effectively the sole autotrophs for hydrothermal vents. This means that hydrothermal vents are places in the seabed where the water gets heated automatically due to volcanic and tectonic movements and or activities. So some kind of chemoautotrophic bacteria live here as hyperthermophilic, which means they can survive high temperatures, and they provide the foundation for hydrothermal vent communities or habitats. However, these bacteria generally are not free ranging, which means that they cannot live alone and independently. So they tend to exist in symbiotic relationship with invertebrates, which are uh, animals which do not possess backbone near the vent. Major symbiotic relationships of these bacteria are with tube worms. These are the tube worms and mollusks, for example, octopus, snail, and squid. Next, you may know that the green color in leaves comes due to chlorophyll. In the same way, the red color in the leaves comes in through anthocyanin. This is a pigment. The orange color in leaves also comes from carotene, and the last yellow color comes through xanthophyll. These all are names of different pigments due to which the color appears in leaves. So as seen in previous examples, leaves other than green can also perform photosynthesis because these plants' leaves are major part is comprised of anthocyanin, carotene, or xanthophyll, and the minor part is comprised of chlorophyll. So if you see closely here in the leaf, red leaf, you can see that there are tiny traces of chlorophyll near the veins of these leaves. So as chlorophyll is present, these plants can perform photosynthesis. Parasitic mode of nutrition. A parasitic plant is a plant that derives some or all its nutrition requirement from another living plant. They make up 1% of all the angiosperms and are found in almost every biome. Angiosperms are the flowering plants. All parasitic plants have modified roots called hosteria, which penetrate the host plant, connecting them to the conductive system, either the xylem or the phloem. The xylem is usually connected to the mistletoe because these plants have green leaves, so they can perform photosynthesis, but they need nutrition. So as xylem carries the nutrients, they put their roots into xylem. And if in case of dodder, it is has no chlorophyll, which means that it cannot do any photosynthesis, means that it is fully dependent on the host plant. So it goes into the phloem, which so it can take the ready-made food. And some parasitic plants can locate their host plants by detecting chemicals in the air or soil given off by host shoots or roots, respectively. About 4,500 species of parasitic plants are present in approximately 20 families of flowering plants. Let's discuss what is a biome. A biome is a community of plants and animals that have a common characteristic for the environment they exist in. They can be found over a range of continents. Biomes are distinct biological communities that have formed in response to a shared physical climate. A biome is a broader term than habitat. Any biome can comprise a variety of habitats, which means that a collection of habitats form a biome. For example, tropical rainforest, boreal rainforest, desert, savanna, temperate rainforest, freshwater life, grassland, and marine biomes. Next, these are some other parasitic plants: corpse flower, eyebright, and Thurber stem sucker. Now I am going to share with you one more fun fact. The largest animal cell existing is the 1.5 kg ostrich egg. Let's go back to our studies. Symbiotic relationship. These symbiotic plants are the process of symbiosis, when two plants live closely together in harmony of one kind or other. The word symbiosis comes from the Greek words for with and living. They describe a relationship between two species or organisms that can be often beneficial for both plants. Let's discuss the example of lichens. Lichens rest near the foundations of many ecosystems. They are formed by fungus and an algae. These fungus, on top of these fungus, the algae come and it forms the lichens. The fungal partner forms the solid structure of the lichen, while the alga provides the energy through photosynthesis because it contains chlorophyll, so it is green color. So the process of converting sun's energy into sugars goes on in the algae. And this is a very close alliance called endosymbiosis, which means that a symbiotic relationship in which the cells or body live inside one another. Rhizobium forms a symbiotic relationship with certain plants such as legumes, fixing nitrogen from the air into plant usable nitrogen compound, or you can say water soluble nitrogenous compounds. It also acts as a natural fertilizer for the plants. This is one more important example of symbiotic relationship from rhizobium and legumes. So this is the microscopic view of rhizobium. Its kingdom is bacteria, phylum is proteobacteria, its class is alpha proteobacteria, order is rhizobius, and genus is rhizobium. Even though the air consists of 78% of nitrogen, these plants cannot take in nitrogen as they do with carbon dioxide. These bacteria colonize plant cells within root nodules. These are the nodules. They convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia using the enzyme nitrogenase and then provide these organic nitrogenous compounds. This is a peace plant and these are the nodules present in its roots. The plant in turn provides the bacteria with organic compounds made by photosynthesis. It also gives it shelter in its roots. So this is mutually beneficial for both areas. So the farmers who don't want to put nitrogen through chemical types, they usually grow peas one time in their crop rotation period so that nitrogen gets fixed through the rhizobium bacteria. Next is insectivorous plant. They are found in nitrogen deficient soil, so that is why they are eating insects. So then Venus flytrap, pitcher plant and cobra lily are some of the insectivorous plants names. They are often called carnivorous plants because they usually eat only insects, but they can perform photosynthesis too. This is the picture plant. Here the Venus flytrap is open. A fly here goes and it closes and then it digestive enzymes are released and it is digested, and when it opens again, the undigested food is released back out. Now there are certain types of traps that are made in insectivorous plants specifically for them. Pitfall traps. These traps are found in a pitcher plant. They comprise of a hollow leaf with a lid filled with liquid to digest the prey. So here there is an insect. It is trying to get to the sweet nectar, but it falls inside, and then after a while the digestive enzymes will be released and it will get digested. Bladderwort traps. These are commonly found in Nutricularia. Nutricularia is the scientific name for bladderwort plant. They use a partial vacuum to suck the small organisms, which means that from in this sac, whichever air is there, it is getting sucked, and the insects which are sitting nearby branches, when it opens, the air rushes in, and the insects also fall inside. So the next is snap traps. These type of traps are found in Venus flytrap. They shut their leaves rapidly as the prey touches the trigger hair. If you carefully observe here before it closes, there are some trigger hairs. Just as its legs touch there, it closes down. Next is lobster pot traps. They are found in corkscrew plants. This is it. They possess downward pointing hair that pushes the prey deep inside the trap. Here it is, the fly is getting rolled up by the corkscrew. And next is the last, flypaper trap. These traps are sticky and adhesive. The leaves are covered in stalked glands that secrete sticky mucilage. Here the leaves contain sticky material. Just as the fly will touch here, it will get stuck and then it will get digested. Next mode of nutrition is saprophytic mode of nutrition. Saprophytes, an organism, especially a fungus or a bacterium that lives on and gets its nutrition from dead organisms or decaying organic material. Saprophytes recycle organic material in the soil, breaking it down into simpler compounds that can be taken up by other organisms. So they usually make the soil more fertile. Transporting plant parts that are present in plants. Xylem is one of them. Xylem is one of the two types of transport tissue in vascular plants, phloem being the other. The basic function of xylem is to transport water from the roots to stems and leaves, but it also transports nutrients sometimes. Phloem. Phloem is the living tissue in vascular plants that transports the soluble organic compounds that are made during photosynthesis, mainly the sugar sucrose to parts of the plant where needed. This transport process is called translocation. The cross section of a leaf, we shall discuss this. The waxy layer above to prevent the more loss of water is called cuticle. It is a waxy layer that covers the upper surface. It protects the leaf against water loss. These are veins which contain nutrients and water. They transport water, nutrients, and food. They are comprised of xylem and phloem. Mesophyll. So here this is the whole part is called mesophyll. It contains the cells that perform photosynthesis because they contain the chloroplast. The green dots are chloroplasts, and these are the guard cells, and this is the stoma opening. I'm going to share one more fact with you. Nerve cell. The longest cell in the animal body is the nerve cell. It is over 90 centimeter long. This is the microscopic view of a real nerve cell, and this is the labeling of a nerve cell. Cells. Let's discuss these plant cells and animal cells. In biology, a cell is the smallest unit of life. All living things like plants and animals are made up of cells. Some simple organisms like amoeba have only one cell while complex organisms like humans have many cells. They are of two types, plant cell and animal cell. This is the microscopic view of a plant cell and this is the microscopic view of a animal cell. Let's discuss plant cell. Plant cells are eukaryotic cells present in green plants, photosynthetic eukaryotes of the kingdom Plantae. Their distinctive features include primary cell walls containing cellulose and the presence of plastids with the capability to perform photosynthesis and store starch. Many types of plant cells contain a large central vacuole of water-filled volume enclosed by a membrane known as the tonoplast. So this is the plant cell. And what are eukaryotic cells? Eukaryotic cells are cells that contain a nucleus and organelles and are enclosed by a plasma membrane. Organisms that have eukaryotic cells include protozoa, fungi, plants, and animals. These organisms are grouped into the biological domain Eukaryota. Plants and various groups of algae have plastids. Plastids have their own DNA and are developed from endosymbionts, in this case cyanobacteria. This bacteria is one type of bacteria which can do photosynthesis. They usually take the form of chloroplast, which, like cyanobacteria, contain chlorophyll and produce organic compounds such as glucose through photosynthesis. This is the microscopic view of plastids, and inside them are the chlorophyll. This is the cross section of a mitochondria. It provides energy to the eukaryote cell by converting sugars into ATP, and ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Let's discuss about some parts. In cell biology, the cytoplasm is the material within a cell enclosed by the cell membrane except for the cell nucleus. The material inside the nucleus is contained within the nuclear membrane is termed as the nucleoplasm. The main components of the cytoplasm are cytosol, a gel-like substance, the organelles, the cell's internal substructures, and the various cytoplasmic inclusions. The cytoplasm is about 80% water and is usually colorless. This is the cytoplasm and this is the nucleus. The cytoplasm is in the place where the cell expands and the growth of the cell takes place. The cytoplasm acts as a buffer and protects the genetic material of the cell and the cellular organelles from damage caused due to movements and collision with other cells, which means that it absorbs the vibration and stops the damage. I'm going to share one more fact with you. The average human being is composed of around 100 trillion individual cells. That is 1 followed by 14 zeros. Try counting that in your mind. There are about 200 different cell types in the human body. There are more than bacterial cells in a human body than human cells. For every 19 bacterial cells, there is only one human cell. Cells will self-destruct if damaged or infected. There is a part called lysosome which will digest the own cell if it is damaged or infected so that the infection does not spread in the whole body. A blood cell can make a complete circuit of your body in under 30 seconds. Next part of the plant cell is nucleus. In the cell biology, the nucleus is a membrane-bound organelle found in eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotes usually have a single nucleus, but a few cell types such as mammalian red blood cells have no nuclei, and a few others including osteoclasts have many. The main structures making up the nucleus are the nuclear envelope, a double membrane that encloses the entire organelle and isolates its contents from the cellular cytoplasm and the nucleus. These three are the different nucleus in the different cells. So this is the cell wall. A cell wall is a structural layer surrounding some types of cells just outside the cell membrane. In the primary growing part, cell wall, the major carbohydrates are cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. Here, the transparent parts that are forming is called the cell wall. There are three layers in a plant cell. The primary cell wall, it is generally a thin, flexible, and extensible layer formed while the cell is growing. The secondary cell wall, a thick layer forming the inside the primary cell wall after the cell is fully grown. It is not found in all cell types. Some cell types, such as the conducting cells in xylem, possess a secondary wall containing lignin, which strengthens and waterproofs the wall. The middle lamella, a rich layer in pectins. This outermost layer forms the interface between adjacent plant cells and glues them together. Now let's discuss about the animal cells. All animal cells are eukaryotic. Animal cells are distinct from those of other eukaryotes, most notably plants, as they lack cell walls and chloroplasts and have smaller vacuoles. Due to the lack of a cell wall, animal cells can transform into a variety of shapes. That is why amoeba can transform into many shapes and release pseudopodia. Animal cells are the basic unit of life in organisms of the kingdom Animalia. They are eukaryotic cells, meaning that they have a true nucleus and specialized structures called organelles that carry out different functions. These are the usual components of a typical animal cell. This is the nucleolus. This is the nucleus. The little dots that you can see are the ribosomes. This is the vesicle. This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. This is the Golgi apparatus. This is the cytoskeleton. This is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. This is the mitochondrion. This is the vacuole. And this is the cytoplasm, cytosol. Then this is the lysosome that I was talking about. This is the centrosome. And this is the cell membrane. Now, some differences between plant cell and animal cell. Plant cells have cell wall that gives them a specific shape. Animal cells do not have a cell wall, so their shape can change. Plant cells have chloroplast which helps them to perform photosynthesis. Animal cells do not have chloroplast, so they cannot perform photosynthesis. Plant cells have a single large vacuole. In animal cells, they have many small vacuoles. So here our chapter ends. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thanks for watching. Like and share and subscribe if you enjoyed my video. Thank you.